Better? No. Hello. I think we need some more light on this.
You're fine.
I had a aha. Turn down a little bit.
Do you have a spare charger for my phone, please?
Hang on. Let's go. What is that behind here? Or is that too much? Is that too much? Or is that fine? That's fine. Right. Okay. Do I have spare charge for your phone? There you go. Right. Hello. Good evening and welcome. It is I back again, and it is the pregnant one. Because I'm not pregnant. I'm the legless one. I don't have any leg on, so I fall over a lot. But I've got the pregnant one here.
Hello, Carl.
Hi, Carl. You all right, mate? Tonight we have got Mr. Wayne Seadon joining us. I just need to check because I have sent him the link to join us. Because, as you know, he is joining our crew. Nope. Has he seen it? Yes, he has seen it. Right, so he should be here any minute. He's back from holiday. She's back from London.
I was back last week.
Yeah, no, but let's face it, you came back and you were just all belly. Well, belly's going to get you.
Yeah. Oh, I only did like that.
Oh, hang on, I just realised. Lean forward. There you go.
Thank you.
So
look at this. My belly tucks my shirt in now.
Your boobs rest on your belly. It's
I
like
know.
a shell.
You know what Sheldon called me?
What?
An orangutan.
Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Oh, you're Dad's muted this laptop. 1 second. We can't hear you.
How did you mute the laptop?
You muted the laptop.
When?
Look, it's on mute.
Where
How do you
are
unmute? There.
Oh, you don't know.
I can't mute it. I can't unmute it.
That isn't on mute.
It is mute.
It's on mute.
Oh.
We're having some problems.
It wasn't on mute just now. What the? Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then we'll put it like this so they can see the whole picture. Oh, no.
Because then we had a more border.
Got it sorted now.
Oh, you want it like this?
It wouldn't be the Dark Mirror show without a lot of fannying about, to be absolutely
You
honest.
prefer it that way or that way?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's me. No, that way.
it's in
So,
reverse.
yes. Tell me, you had a good holiday?
It wasn't too bad, actually. Thank you.
Jolly good.
Quite amusing with all the PLF forms and everything that we had to fill in, which they never checked.
Oh.
Well, I don't know what those are. What are those?
Right. PLF forms. Anybody that goes abroad has to fill in a passenger location form.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And we had to fill one in for the Greek government, telling them where we were going to be for 2 weeks. And where we were flying from, and that was it. We got to the airport after being told by our government that we were going to have to show this QR code that was sent by the Greek government, and then they would scan it, and then we would go for a COVID test. We got to the airport. They asked if we had the QR code. I just held up my phone. The bloke just looked at it and said, "Right, there you go." Straight to baggage, picked up our suitcase and walked straight out the door to see me mum and dad.
Well,
and that took us an hour to fill that form. We had to put the whole family on that form. Everybody that was on there was on that one form. Coming back, we weren't told we had to do another one coming back into the UK until 4 days before we were due to return. It took me 3.5 hours to do a form for every person over the age of 18. And it asked everything. Where we were staying for the first 14 days. Why didn't we feel that we needed to self-isolate? And all these stupid questions, including what's your flight number? What's your booking reference number? What seat are you sitting in?
Oh.
We returned to Stansted Airport. We got to the UK Border Patrol. They said, "Can you take your masks off so we can check your passports?" So if we'd have had COVID, we'd have infected everybody in the queue.
Yeah.
And then they said, "Did you do the PLF form?" "Yes." "Okay, through you go." So I could have literally just scanned the QR code from a bottle of Dr. Pepper or something, because I never had to show it.
Daft, isn't it? And there's supposed to be all the safety and
all
stuff.
these rules and regulations that they're saying you've got to go by, they're not sticking to them themselves.
Well, Calvin, my partner's brother, went to America, and when he flew back, he went to America before COVID hit, and when he flew back, they just said, do you have a temperature and do you feel sick? He was like, nope, no, all right, get on the plane.
Yeah.
Pretty much everywhere
I mean,
you go.
some places, if your temperature was 2 degrees higher than it should be, they wouldn't let you in the country.
That's right, yeah.
Oh. My dentist.
So,
yeah. Well,
crazy.
It's like some places over here where it's supposed to be super strict, you know, and you go in and they're like, have you this, have you that? No. Oh, on you go.
Yeah.
But,
it's nuts.
what was I going to say? Possibly next week, in the next 2 weeks, because as you know, you're joining us on a regular basis now, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'd like to do one on the missing Kruger rounds, the Kruger Gold.
Right.
Because I find the whole thing fascinating. Plus, with her and half South African family in that, I know they'd love to see it. And I know I've got a lot of friends on there who are from South Africa as well, and they'd probably love to hear about it. But I was watching it on Expedition Unknown because I love that program.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating the way you've got tracks and trails that they managed to find, and some caves where they managed to find that they hid out, and then boof, gone. You know, and one Kruger round's worth, I think it's like £1,500 or something at the moment. It's
a very similar show to what was it when they the one they did looking for the Civil War gold in Lake Michigan.
Yes, that's right. That's still on. And search, the Civil War one. That's still on. That one, because they found. I remember seeing the one where there was 2 trains that had been on the back of a steamer.
Yeah.
And they would the ship would have sunk, so they pushed the trains over, and they were like intact.
Yep.
I remember that. Yeah. Expedition Unknown. I watch it religiously, and I've seen because there was Expedition Unknown, there was Destination Unknown, and I love Josh Gates. I think he's brilliant because he gets so. You know, when you watch other stuff, like the Dark Mirror show, we're different because we like laugh, joke, go off on a tangent, talk about a cat's bum and things like that. But when we genuinely find something we're interested in, we all go, oh! And he does the same thing. You know?
Yeah.
So, hello, everybody in the chat room. Hi, Gary. Hi, Helen. And Mr. Carl Hutchinson is there, and he's going to be joining us sometimes as well.
It's all right, Helen. Have a good night. And hello, Gary.
Would you like to show Helen your bum and Gary?
He's not watching.
Would you like to show Gary your bum because he'll be nearly as big as him now?
If you want to see it.
So she's sprouting nicely.
In the box.
But yeah, so I thought at the moment
you get me one of each, please.
I thought at the moment we'll keep it cryptids because I find it interesting stuff, you know. And then when you were telling me about that mad stuff going on down in Cornwall, I thought, right, so let's carry on. So, without further ado, let's start with the Owl Man of Cornwall, wasn't it?
Yes, it's become part of Cornish folklore apparently. But there have been sightings of this up until 2000. Hasn't been anything since. But when I was looking up into this earlier on, I don't know, it's a bit of a strange one because a lot of people have said it's something to do with a Eurasian owl. Right. Because the Eurasian owl is naturally rather large. But it goes back to 1976. The original story was told or discovered by someone called Tony Shields. He claimed that he had investigated a report by 2 young girls on holiday in Mornan in Cornwall who saw a large winged creature hovering above the tower of St. Mornan and St. Stephen's Church on the 17th of April 1976. Apparently there were different versions of the story, but the girls who were identified by name were so frightened by the sight of a feathered bird man that their father, Don, immediately cut short their holiday and went home. And it was then, again, it was seen a little bit later on. The stories had circulated throughout Cornwall. And then it was reported again only 2 months later, again by two young girls, where they were actually aware of the tail,
yes.
and they were camping, and they reckon they were confronted by a big owl with pointed ears as big as a man. Well, owls.
I wonder if that could be the harpy owl.
Hang on. Hang on.
No, since you said the big ears and I saw that.
Yeah, when I went, I know what it is, and I googled it. Dad figured out what it was. Yeah, okay, all right.
But it would have to be as big as a man. That is the report.
I know. No, that's not as big as a man.
So of course,
soft-watting.
But you'd had sporadic claims of the owlman sightings over the years, literally starting from '76 right the way through to the last. I wouldn't say sighting because they didn't see it, but apparently there was a report of a loud owl-like sound could be heard in the Mullion churchyard during the year 2000, and there hasn't been any reports since. But when I look through it, you know, obviously people have been saying that they reckon it's probably the Eurasian eagle owl, which is most likely source. But to be honest, you know, to turn around and say, well, this thing was as big as a man, you know, were these the second sighting? Were these two girls sort of going off of this last one and thought, oh, well, you know, we'll just add to it and just you know, for a laugh? Or were they being serious?
And it's Cornwall in the 70s, so
you know. But they said that it could have, the whole thing could have been a hoax. Who had a reputation for hoaxing, the Shields. Apparently, this Tony Shields has got a history of hoaxing. But the thing is, as well, is it sort of coincides along with Mothman.
I was before I got hold of you, I said to you, didn't I? It reminds me very much of the Mothman.
Yeah.
But the harpy owl, we've just looked it up. It's only a maximum
3.3 feet tall.
Yeah, when it looks like a man crouching, and if you looked at it in a tree from below, it does look very much like a human face.
Yeah.
With pointy ears.
But the problem is, owls do not hover.
Oh.
The only bird that does that is a kestrel, isn't it?
And exactly, and the second sighting was that the thing was hovering above the church. Oh no, sorry, the first sighting, it was actually hovering above the church tower.
Because the Mothman's supposed to hover as well, isn't he?
Apparently. The thing is, that is literally only, I think it was 6 years after the Point Pleasant incident in West Virginia with the Mothman, the Silver Bridge.
So it could very well have been active imaginations.
Yeah, it could have just been bounced off of that, because I think the Mothman book itself hadn't been out that long after the incident had happened. I got the funny feeling that StreamYard doesn't like me because you've frozen.
We're still here. Don't worry, we're still moving and live and kicking. I can see a cat in the background. I can see your paranormal puss.
Oh, that's Phantom.
Carl just said it sounds like the Mothman sightings that happened in Kent in the 60s, which he has looked into. When you put it all together, you got the Mothman sightings over in America, then supposed sightings in Kent, and now you've got the Eagle Man or whatever it is in Cornwall, all around the same time.
There were a lot of rumours as well, and some people called him the Crow Man, in the wonderful place of Chernobyl. Apparently, the Mothman was seen approximately 2 months before the nuclear reactor at Chernobyl decided to blow up. There has been reports quite regularly of the Mothman being around near times of disasters, and I did have a look, because obviously for a number of months before the Silver Bridge collapsed into the Ohio River.
Oh, that was Ohio. Yeah.
The Mothman had been seen quite a lot. He was seen on a regular basis, and apparently he was giving messages to people, warning them that something was going to happen. And obviously, in the end,
there's tales of it in my Irish side of the family, and I'm trying to remember what you call them. They screech.
Banshees.
Mother-in-laws, banshees. That's it. Yeah, a bit like banshees.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, in different places, the Mothman was called different things. It was just that what happened with the Silver Bridge sort of made bigger news, and therefore this guy, John Keel, he was a journalist, and he was an influential ufologist who actually coined the phrase "the Men in Black."
Right. Yeah.
And he wrote the Mothman Prophecies, which was based on what happened in West Virginia at Point Pleasant. Which obviously, as most of us know now, that if you're into the paranormal, leads on to the film with Richard Gere, The Mothman Prophecies, which is
what
one
did
of
you
my
make of
favorite
the film?
films. I loved it.
See, I couldn't get into it. I just found it so it took and I'm like, come on, do so, let's do that, and I'm no.
I liked Gods of Egypt.
To be fair, I like Gods of Egypt.
But I did like it. It confused me the first time I watched it. It did confuse me a little bit because I was trying to figure out how he could get from one place to the other in a third of the time that it should have taken him.
Yeah.
So it was a bit strange, but once I'd watched it more than once, it sort of made things sort of a bit clearer.
Yeah. I'll give it another go.
So obviously to actually look at the history of it and then actually research the Mothman, which I did a little mini documentary for Truth Beyond Paranormal. When you look at the background of it and all of the sightings that were there before the bridge collapsed, and then nothing after it.
Yeah.
All these alleged sightings from different people, from different walks of life, different backgrounds. Some people had reputable jobs in the community, and to turn around and say, "Oh, well, I saw this thing with bright red eyes come at me from the middle of nowhere and warned me something was going to happen." You know, you're not going to stand out and say, "I saw this," because you're going to look a fool, like with people that see UFOs.
I was just about to say, there's also, I mean, Carl's putting some really good stuff in the chat room now.
I have a feeling that this Mothman will be another.
Yeah, I'll get to what you said in a minute. But there is the school of theory that a load of it is nonsense. There's the school of theory that it's real, and there's also the one that I'm a bit about this one, but it's somebody from the future wearing an encounter suit come back to warn people because it's specific people in the family.
Yeah.
And Carl's just said he's worked with one of the leading people that's written books on the USA and UK Mothman sightings. A lot of the sightings in the USA have been debunked as it's all word of mouth. So, Carl, what do you make of the Kent ones and the Cornish ones? Do you think? I think the Cornish ones, I think we're kind of, maybe a little bit of that happened, but I think a lot of it maybe ad lib. But yes, you can rest your drink on your stomach. I'm very proud of you. But it does sound like the one in America, Harbinger of Doom, or at least a harbinger of things to come. Especially with the Chernobyl thing, if it's possible, because if it's all the same and it's all reported, the same sighting, same looks and everything, it does lend credence to somebody possibly wearing an encounter suit of some sort and warning people.
I was just thinking.
What?
I was just thinking, since we've been on this for almost 20 minutes, maybe we can continue this on another radio show with Carl.
Yeah, I mean, if Carl wants to join us, that's more than welcome for that.
And then we can move on to this guy because he's really cute.
But just dang on. Yes, we'll get on to him in a minute. Shush.
So I mean, the thing is though, is you know, obviously this Owlman of Cornwall, is it a larger sort of unspecified species of owl? You know, we know how many, they've roughly said that there are about 500 plus black leopards and panthers roaming around the British countryside.
The ones down in the West Country, I can say that the ones in Somerset are real, because I've seen one with this daughter, and I've seen one with my eldest daughter, and the one I saw, was it with you when it crossed the road in front of us? Yeah, it literally, my mum lives in the armpit of nowhere. Yeah, the black one. In a place called Thorncombe in Somerset, which is literally tiny country lanes to get to it. There's one country lane in, one out. And we just left there, haven't we? And we were coming back. There's a little tiny bridge you go over a river, and we were just coming up, and we saw this thing in at the side of the road. We stopped, and it could only have been the black panther. It was unless it was the biggest sodding black cat I've ever seen on steroids. But it climbed down through a hedge, out, you know, down a bank, got halfway across the road in front of us, stopped, sat down, looked at us. And
then the tail was like,
God, the tail was huge,
massive.
And then it just sauntered, and it wasn't in a hurry or anything. It was a proper, I own this shit. If you get out the car, you know I'm going to mess you up, bruv. So I'm just going to take my time. And he just wandered across the road, and its tail was at least, if he'd wrapped it around itself, it would have been longer than its own body and head. And it was about that bloody thick at the end, wasn't it? And it was black, and it looked straight at us. Walked across the lane, up the bank, through the hedge, and was gone. And there's also a
it did scare me.
Yeah, I know, because you got me to drive like the clappers. And the thing was, we went straight to the local police to report it, because I knew one of the policemen there, and he turned around to me and said, "Oh, I'll put it in the book along with the last 20 sightings. It's well known around there." And there's also a puma, a sandy-coloured puma.
Well,
isn't
Gary just said there was another spotting this week near Axminster.
They're all over there. Ever since they repealed the license to hold those animals, and people couldn't bear to put them down, they set them free, or you know, up in all the moorlands and everything. That's why they're everywhere now.
No, well, we've got a few in this area.
You ever seen any of them?
I haven't, no, but there were reports. I think the last one was a couple of weeks ago. There was a report. I had it up on on Google on my phone, but because I'm now using StreamYard on there, I can't access it. But there was sightings in Chelmsford and Hatfield Peveril, which aren't that far apart from each other. But they've labelled it the Beast of Essex.
Well, the big cats, their territory, they can roam as much as 50 miles a night one way, just to find food. And if they're out, I mean, you know, I've lived all over the UK. I know what the areas are like. They haven't got to go far to get themselves a rabbit. They really haven't.
I mean, the one in Essex, they seem to be going by the legend of Black Shuck.
That's a dog, isn't it?
Yeah, they've just said the so-called Beast of Essex is thought to look like a black panther or a puma. Legends of a black ghost dog known as the Black Shuck have existed across East Anglia and Essex for centuries.
Funnily enough, East Anglia and Essex and that pretty much has the same. If you had a map of the British Isles and you looked at types of hauntings or types of legends, I should say, Black Shuck and the ones that they have up your way are very similar to the ones they have down in the West Country.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just reading here what Carl said. The Cornwall sightings are more bird-like and not reptile. Reptiles are like the USA and Kent sightings. And Gary, Waycroft Bridge near Axminster. I know where that is. Yeah, I'm not surprised because Axminster is very near to. Well, it's about 10 miles away from where my mum lives, so it's all stone's throw for one of those things, you know. And it is thick woodland, thick, you know, loads of open fields and stuff. It can just find anything.
Yeah, I mean, between where we are, you know, we've got Colchester, and then you'll have about 6 miles of open fields and woodland in between each town. So, I mean, even from between Chelmsford and Hatfield Peveril, you've got that distance between the two. And these are where all the reports are coming in. But it's, you know, you'll get one person say, oh, well, it's this. Then another person says, no, it's not. It's got to be that. And of course, then it gets lost in translation. And then you'll get things come out because like obviously with the Mothman, you've got the Mothman situation in America. Then you've got Owlman here. I've just found another one called the Popo Bawa.
Hello. Hello and welcome to the Dark Mirror Show.
Yes, welcome to the Dark Mirror Show, Chloe. Oh dear, that's daughter number one.
This is daughter number two.
Grandson.
Grandson
daughter
number
two's gone to bed.
To be honest, I mean, I've been out and about to sorting this out and the other out all day, so I'm knackered. But get a new car next week, and I'm hoping to go on a road trip. And if I do, I wouldn't mind coming down and saying hey to you guys.
Yeah, well, like I said to you the other week, we've got the event up at Rougham Control Tower.
Yes, you have. Yes.
Which we've got a room for you.
Talk to me about that afterwards. Yeah, talk to me about that afterwards because that's a yeah.
Can I just I just need to apologise to everyone watching and to you, Wayne. I look like I'm out of it and I'm really tired. It's because I'm very tired, but I am trying to concentrate. I've not been smoking. I've not been smoking.
No,
I'm just very tired.
It's carrying that bowling ball about. Let's come and show the ladies and gentlemen how big a bowling ball is this week.
It's 6 months.
Is it 6 months this week?
Yeah. Do you know how many days exactly today?
Well,
169.
169. Well, I'm not. That's my grandson. 169. Isn't it that number that got you in trouble in the first place?
If I did that, I would have been. I've got 111 days left.
Right. What I was going to say is I was going to move on to. I'm just trying to find some of the newer. We spoke about the thylacine the other week. Right, the thylacine. Yes or no? Do you think it's coming? The Tasmanian tiger. There have been more and more sightings, and I've seen some pretty convincing footage that was taken from somebody's security camera in their front garden of what looked literally like a thylacine on somebody's back doorstep, and then hearing something, turning around and running off. Same striped arse and tail, and it was really, really recent as well.
You mean that one?
Yeah.
Tasmanian tiger.
Not to be confused with the Tasmanian devil.
Oh God, no, because for a start, this one doesn't go. Blah, 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 blah. This one, Tasmanian devils are real. They're like really pissed off Wolverines.
They got metal claws.
Yeah, they're gonna shank you. Yeah. But the thylacine, I think it's about, and I do think it's coming back. What about you?
Well, I mean, they are claiming that it is extinct. However, could it be because of the fact that no one has actually kept their eyes on it to see whether, the numbers are sort of in seclusion away from everybody, and the numbers are slowly starting to come back?
Well, there was a pair released in New Zealand in the 30s. They did. New Zealand did a thing. There were certain species dying out because of farmers and this, that, and the other in Australia, New Zealand, this, that, and the other. And there was a secret thing done where they took a pair, male and female, of all these things that were being endangered, kept them, and then when they died out, they secretly released them.
Well, also, to call an animal extinct, it doesn't have to be completely wiped off of the planet. It's like something like 20,000 left in the world, and then they call it extinct. Something like that.
I mean, it's supposed to have been because the farmers were.
The thing is, as well, is just because they haven't managed to count all of the numbers doesn't necessarily mean there isn't more of them. It's just they haven't found them all.
I do think they're still around, and it's getting more and more prolific. Like I say, there's some pretty convincing
what is it
camera footage out there. No, that's it. It's Australia and New Zealand is like Madagascar. They have their own ecosystem, their own animals that are just that area, and the thylacine is one of them.
Like how we have people from Somerset.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, even on this, I've just found that it was presumed to be extinct after the last captive animal died in 1936.
That's right. It died in a zoo in Hobart.
Yeah, so it's a case of have they been seen since? But obviously, you know, there's a lot of people who are actually claiming now that one has been seen.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's been 8 over recent years.
Oh.
I definitely think they're back out there. And to be honest, it'd be nice to see and nice to think that man hadn't been a complete git and killed them all off.
I wished we didn't kill the dodos because they're so cute.
I don't know how this guy did it, but apparently in July, a man reported seeing a footprint on Sleeping Beauty Mountain. According to his document, that the man had stated that he believes the print belonged to a Tasmanian tiger after he went home and Googled photos of it.
Right.
In November 2018, a woman reported seeing what she believed to be a Tasmanian tiger and 2 cubs, which means there must be a male about as well, at Harts Mountains National Park. And 2 people reported seeing the animal after it walked out in front of them while driving in Carina, describing it as bigger than a fox but smaller than a German shepherd with stripes down its back.
That's right. And there was that place you just mentioned, that country park. That's where there was some trail cam footage taken of one up there. I think they're there, and I hope that they do come back, and I hope man doesn't make the same bloody stupid mistake that it did back in the 1930s.
And with the dodo.
I think if it gets confirmed that they do still exist, I think they'll become protected.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a lot of them, aren't they? You know, I mean, take white rhinos and black rhinos. It doesn't stop people trying to poach for the ivory, but they stand more of a chance of surviving if they're protected than if they're not.
Talking of that, I heard you must have seen it all over Facebook, but there was a really interesting story of what happened, the fate of 3 ivory poachers? Yeah, ivory poachers. And I just thought it was just desserts, because if you're going to hunt big game, especially endangered animals, you're an idiot and you deserve what happens here. End of. But 3 poachers, high-powered rifles, tracking some big game, and they got taken out by a herd of lions. And all they found, I think, was, if I remember right, there was a foot in a trainer, a few other chunks of body parts, and they found 3 high-powered rifles and rucksacks. And it's like, yay, go Lions!
Yep. I mean, I worked at Colchester Zoo for a year, and I had the opportunities to go over to places like Kenya and Tanzania to actually sort of help with the protection of these animals. But unfortunately, the RAF came calling before I got the chance. So,
I don't.
But what do you know? I mean, these animals. I mean, you know, like we said, there's no guarantee that they do not exist anymore. I mean, there could be somewhere. We know for a fact that we haven't explored 100% of our planet. So there could be areas where there could be a dodo or a pair of mating dodos. It's just that we haven't explored that area yet or had the capability. You know, like we say about exploring our oceans. You know, there's so much of our own planet we haven't explored properly, and yet we're venturing off out into space.
I've always said that. The amount of space that we've discovered, and we haven't discovered, like, we've only just, what is it, 57%?
The oceans, we've hardly any of it.
Yeah.
It's like I want to know what's underneath that layer in the Marianas Trench, because you've got main water, and then you've got that layer, and they can't get anything through that layer to see what's underneath. They know it's a massive void and that there's creatures down there, but they don't know what. I reckon when they do, that's going to be fascinating. Like,
well, I mean, you look at that. You got things like the oarfish.
Yeah.
And the oarfish, when that was first discovered, would have been classed as a cryptid because no one knew what it was. They were like, whoa, hang on a minute. And then they actually researched it and discovered where it came from, how far down it came from. But there seems to be more and more incidences of oarfish turning up on shorelines, being washed up.
dirty, great big sodding long fish.
Which looks like an oar.
And isn't there one called a golden sunfish or something as well that was supposed to have been a myth, and that was discovered?
Possibly.
Rings a bell. I'll have to have a look.
I mean, there's your raw fish. Hang on, when that calms itself down, there we go.
And it's native. The closest thing you get over here is the ones that come up the Thames estuary, but it just put an H in front of oarfish, and its name's Tracy. So
she made me laugh and made me phone fall over. There you go.
What do you reckon to megalodons? Do you yay or nay? Do you think they exist or not?
Yeah.
I think there's something there.
I don't think megalodons exist. However, I don't see why there couldn't be really, really huge great white sharks.
Well, you've seen deep. Have you seen Deep Blue, the biggest one that they've found so far? Yeah. What is? Oh, hello. I'm just feeling my grandson kicking the living daylights out of my hand. Hello, Junior. So there are great whites that are being found with the head, basically the head bitten off, and we're not talking small ones either. They're sodding great big ones, and something that is hell of a lot bigger than them is going around going, "Oh, lunch."
Well, no, but the thing is, they're not killing to eat; they're just killing.
What, great whites or the things that's eating the great whites?
Things that's eating the great whites.
So there's something massive in the water that's killing off the predators.
And which obviously would be another predator. Oh, yeah. Falling over again, look. Sorry, charging my phone at the same time is not really a good idea because it's sort of perching on the charging cable.
If it's easier, turn it sideways because our camera's sideways anyway, so it fills up the whole screen.
Yeah. I don't want to show you my kitchen because it's a mess.
I'm not so sure about megalodons, but I do think that there's possibly a very big predator there that that's not known to science yet, that is starting to make its mark. And it may have come up through that barrier on the Marianas Trench. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've just looked it up actually, but some bright spark on Google had asked a question at some point: could the megalodon still exist? And the answer that came back was simply no. It's definitely not alive in the deep oceans, despite what the Discovery Channel has said in the past. If an animal as big as a megalodon still lived in the oceans, we would certainly know about it.
No, because we've only discovered 5% of the ocean.
Yeah, but the problem is when you've got submarines swimming about and you've got a shark the same size as a submarine. Yeah. You know, I mean, things like sonar would probably have picked it up. Satellite imagery would have picked it up.
There was a blip as well, wasn't there?
I still believe
that was heard via sonar, wasn't it? And they don't know to this day what it was.
Yeah.
That was heard for thousands of miles through the water.
I sort of probably more along the lines of thinking that obviously we evolved from apes. Yeah. Apes evolved.
Some of us never changed, mate.
Yeah, some things never change. But then you go right the way back through evolution, go right the way back to when we were nothing but soup.
Yeah.
And so maybe what we're seeing is we're seeing an evolution thing where a great white shark is needed to be the king of the predators, so it's evolving to grow bigger, or it could be pollution is making it grow bigger. You know, this thing with the Simpsons with the fish with 3 eyes, and then someone in Japan found a fish with 3 eyes, and it was created by pollution.
Well, everything has happened, including Fukushima and everything like that. You know.
Well, again, this goes back to the Mothman prophecies again. Apparently, he was seen before the tidal wave at Fukushima. So it asks the questions again, doesn't it?
And that leads me on to another cryptid, which, quite frankly, the age-old tale of the mermaid, I think, was sailors who've been at sea for far too long, getting a little bit, I need a woman, and seeing dugongs or something like that. But there are tales, especially around South America and the Bahamas and that, of these weird, I'll say merfolk, because they're not like your standard. It's not going to turn around and start saying under that sea, because these things are nasty and try and bite you. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird one when you look at different places will have different things, and the problem is I've got a sneaky suspicion that Hollywood's playing a part in this.
Could be.
Because you get films released like The Meg, and Deep Blue and Godzilla and everything else, and then all of a sudden there's could there be this? Could there be that?
Could there be a drunk phone?
Yeah, certainly is. So it raises the questions of could these things be around, and if they are, how have they managed to get so big? I personally think the megalodon would have been spotted a mile off if it still existed.
You would have thought. I do think there is a big predator down there, but I don't know what. But it's like the giant squid. People thought that was a complete myth up until the 70s, wasn't it? And they actually tried to find any proof of them.
Yep.
And they reckon that's what the Kraken legend was based on, didn't they?
Have you seen the tiny octopus that scientists have found, and they couldn't think of a name for it, so they just called it the cute octopus?
The cute octopus.
Oh my god.
Really?
Oh my god.
You want to see weird? Look up the vampire squid. That's weird. See?
Actually, I've looked up something earlier on that was strange, and I don't know why they called it this, but they called it the fried egg fish.
Oh my god. The fried egg fish.
Look up the fried egg jellyfish.
Fried egg jellyfish.
Yeah.
It is. It's called Adorabilis.
Yeah.
Very strange. I was many years ago when I went to Malta. We went on a boat trip, and it went round in between the two islands of Malta and Gozo, and we stopped in this bay, and the captain had said, when we stop, you'll be able to go swimming. And everybody looked over the edge of the boat and could see all these jellyfish, and everybody's going, no, we don't want to go in there. We'll get stung. Me, I just got up on the side and jumped in, and I'm swimming about for ages, and everybody's going, get him out, he's going to get stung. And I'm moving these jellyfish out the way. And like, captain's like, no, he's fine. Go on, all you lot jump in as well. And they wouldn't do it. And I've just looked them up today, and it comes out that they are completely harmless to humans.
Yeah.
But they were huge.
I've seen those. Go on and have a look at this. This is the Adorabilis.
So scientists found him and said...
Your camera's frozen, my end. I can't see nothing.
Oh, no.
Try and go forward a bit.
It's frozen.
Well, I'll come back a bit. No, it's gone. It looks like something you'd throw a Pokeball at.
Right.
There you go.
You can see it.
No, for some reason for some reason it's just you on your end. You've frozen completely.
Hang on. Right.
Oh,
you got off. Are we back?
No, it's just back as you.
Me?
Yep.
She sat right beside me. Hang on.
Well,
there?
She's a ghost because I'm not getting nothing.
Oh, okay. Well, have you turned into a phantom?
No.
The thing was, I was getting on both cameras. We both froze, and then all of a sudden, you froze, and I was still going. I went into the chat bit, and I'm on the cam and mic bit. Then I come back in again, go back into the chat bit. I've got no chat from the moment we were talking about the Cornwall sightings.
Oh, you should have. It's all there.
No, got me mic, camera off, camera on. Just nothing there. Strange. Anyway,
Gremlins in the machine. What do you make of the Jersey Devil? Because that's one thing. To me, I think it's one of those giant golden flying foxes. But what do you make of it?
I don't know, because it's got a weird shaped head, hasn't it?
Well,
It's like a what do they call them?
A goat.
No, oh crumbs. Trying to think of what they're called. Capybaras, is it?
Oh yeah.
Capybara with wings.
It looks very weird.
Yes, I know.
I suppose it does, yeah.
You know, it's just it look to me. You look at the Jersey Devil, and it's got the head of a capybara,
Yeah.
the neck of a giraffe, the body of a horse,
Yeah.
and bat's wings.
Yeah.
And the legs of what looks like a duck.
No, those are who.
Those are very poorly drawn.
So, have you ever seen the? I think it's called the giant golden flying fox, and it's the biggest black flying fox, street bat, whatever you want to call it, in the world. And that looks like it's got a goat head or a dog's head. I think.
just come across one. Is this the Jersey Devil? Someone has actually recorded a weird creature, but this hasn't got wings on it.
No?
Which, oh hello, drunk again. Right, that's it, sideways.
There you go. You feel free now.
Right. Where's my camera gone? Is that the Jersey Devil that's been labelled as?
Somebody shaved a cat. What the hell is that? It's either it looks like a cross between a shaved monkey and a shaved cat.
No, there's
Yep.
What, a lemur?
But if you go by the supposed sightings of the Jersey Devil, the majority of sightings say it's got wings.
That's right. Yeah.
That hasn't got wings.
What? The Jersey Devil or your son?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. He sort of he was sitting in the distance and then decided he wanted to jump in and sort of have a look.
That's no worries, mate. We keep having various dogs and cats appearing in the background. So
we've got all the dogs here.
See, when I was talking to Wild Bill when his internet was working, because he was supposed to be with us last week, but his internet went. So I haven't heard from him since then, actually. So I don't know if he's all right. But he was saying that a lot of his family are down in like the swamp areas, and he's been out with them hunting at night. And he said himself, there's things that he's heard and they've heard, and some things that they've seen on the edge of sight that they literally just go, turned around, went home, locked the doors, and didn't step out of the place until it was light again. So I think there's possibly stuff down there that we don't know about. But it's like a lot of their the sort of Bigfoot type creatures that are down in that particular area, they're all supposed to have a weird smell, aren't they? Like the skunk ape and that lot.
Yeah, I think most of the cases of Bigfoot, they've all said that there's been a bit of a bouquet around that. There's much to be desired.
It's got hairy bollocks, that's why.
Just don't wash.
See, I think there is a case for Bigfoot sightings. I do think there is something, and I do think a relative of Gigantopithecus didn't die out.
Well, the problem is and I saw a video the other day, and it was a scientist was explaining why people's skin color is different depending on where you are in the world.
Yeah.
And he claims that it's because of ultraviolet light hits different parts of the earth at different levels.
Yeah.
So therefore, evolution compensated for that by the coloration of the skin. Yeah. Now, you could look at that as the same sort of scenario for the likes of Bigfoot, why we get Yeti, the abominable snowman, you know, all these different sightings in different areas, but they all roughly look the same. They all have roughly the same mannerisms, but there's always something different about them with the look, you know, like the build is all the same, but the look is slightly different depending on where they are.
Exactly what I've said. I I still think that from when Pangea was about, either Gigantopithecus or something of that ilk, because the description is nearly always that, went to various parts of Pangea before it broke up. Then it broke up. That's why you've got them down in Australia, the Yowie, then on top of Tibet, there's the abominable snowman. And as you said, different parts of the world, different sunlight filters, different temperatures, humidity, everything. They're going to be developing very differently, like we would if we were living over there. You know?
Yeah, and the likes of the abominable snowman, he's gonna Thanks. You know, with him, he's going to be white because he lives in snowy areas, just like the polar bear.
Yeah.
So they would blend in with the background. So then you get your Yeti or Sasquatch, which would be in the northern Americas, would look different to the one that they've seen in the southern areas. You know, the ones in the southern areas may not have as much fur because it doesn't need as much fur.
Yeah, he's got a baby. He's got a baby there, you daft bugger. A little baby there. What do you think it was? A very naughty cat?
Oh God. My little son Freddie, I think he wants his milk, but Ellen's still trying to put Tamsin to sleep.
Nah. What was I going to say?
But,
and also, that's right. Also, with regards to the Yeti and stuff, you've even got the reports of the very appropriate hairy men up in Scotland.
Aye. Right, I'm going to fix it back up right now. There we go.
Let me put it out
It's fine by me. It's fine.
Scotty, I got a whole bag of shush with your name on it. But so, what do you, with all the cryptids that have been sighted? I mean, I could go on and on and on. The list is bloody endless, especially in North America. They have so many different things. But I do think that a lot of the North American ones are possibly done to draw custom to an area that's very low in tourism.
Yeah, I think so. If you've got, you know, like a national park or something, and the numbers start dropping, what better excuse? We've had a Yeti come through here the other day. Here's a bit of footage. And then all of a sudden, you've got swarms of people all come to the place to try and see what you've seen.
Look at the that cafe that's down on by Area 51, and you can rent mobile homes to just go out and sleep in.
The little alien.
That's right. They must make it. I'd love to go there. Absolutely love to go there. They must make a fortune down there. In fact, Carl's been there. I'm sure, if I remember rightly. Carl's gone now, but if I remember rightly, Carl's been there because I'm sure he got me a fridge magnet from there. So,
it's like the one at Rendlesham Forest as well. They've turned that into more of a visitor's site now.
See, I still want to go down there, but because I haven't been down there yet, because you know my thing is I've got to do it. Aliens! Haven't done that for a couple of weeks. But I do want to do that, but I'd like to take the Dark Mirror Show crew there so we can do our own investigation and then do a show about it.
Yeah, that's only up the road from me, because that's RAF Woodbridge.
Would that be all right if I came down one weekend and we went and go and did that?
Yeah.
Cool.
I won't.
Thank you. No, you can't because you are pregnant and you can't run very fast.
I'm pretty good with that because I haven't got to do anything there because I work from home. So.
Exactly. I start work soon working with children with mental health issues. Doing school runs and minding them and this, that, and the other. So I can do it weekends, or I can do it in school holidays. Go on now. Oh God, she's going. Oh my God, it's a baby.
You're looking the wrong way, mate. There we go.
Hello.
You look like Jack
Look at him.
Hello.
Doesn't he look like you?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Bugger. Hiya.
Hello.
But
Well, yes, I wouldn't mind doing that one day if we can do a weekend. Come down and we'll do.
Yeah, don't see why not. It's only about 3/4 of an hour up the road from me, so it's pretty close. Because we went past it when we filmed for the for Truth Beyond Paranormal. We did an episode at Dunwich, which is only down the road from there, or up the road from there, I should say. Yeah.
You just reminded me of something I need to talk to you about after we finish. Just remember.
We kept saying that we were going to do an episode, but we were supposed to have done an episode at Rendlesham Forest last year.
Yeah.
For summer last year, and the day we chose for everybody, and because we're all from different areas, we're all like, right, we'll go for it. And right up to the morning we were due to leave, it just went pear-shaped. It absolutely threw it down. The winds picked up, and we said, look, it's not going to be suitable for us to do an investigation outside in the rain and the wind. You're just not going to do anything there. So we ended up calling it off in the end, which obviously is still something we're still planning on doing.
Yeah.
But it's been an absolute nightmare, really, to try and get things fitted in.
It would be nice to start, because this is where I wanted the show to go. It'd be nice to start doing outside things where we can actually film it and try and edit a bit in and give something else. Just instead of seeing our ugly mugs all the time, sat in the same place, going, it'd be nice to see us out and about and doing stuff.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't mind doing that. But until we do,
we're filming on our public event that I'm doing along with the Haunted Roses Essex Paranormal team. We're doing the Rough and Control Tower one. We're actually going to be filming for the comeback episode of Truth Beyond Paranormal at Rougham, as well as doing the public event there. So it should combine in quite nicely.
Oh, cool, nice one. What was I going to say? Next week, how do you fancy? I'll let you have the choice. Either aliens or Victorian legends.
Victorian legends. I don't know. I think, what sort of Victorian legends are you talking about? Like
Devil's Footprint, Spring Heel Jack, that lot.
Yeah, I was going to say Spring Heel Jack.
Yeah,
go with Victorian legends, because obviously a lot of things are sort of end up being alien related, don't they?
Well, have you ever seen my in-laws?
I don't know. My ex-in-laws are like that.
Yeah,
they're aliens.
You got to mention them on the polite society.
Speak ill about them.
So yes. Anyway, so next week, Spring Heel Jack and Devil's Footprints is an interesting one as well. We've done a previous show about that a couple of years ago, and it'd be nice to retouch on that. I've got some stuff somewhere. I'll send it to you. But now you're going to be having a lot more to do with it. You've got a lot more to do with saying what we do.
Cool.
So,
yeah, I've just found something about that for next week, so we're all right.
Cool. I think we've pretty much done cryptids to death at the moment.
Yeah, well, you can only do so much, can't you? I mean, you can go sort of right the way back into history, and then you literally end up back in the Jurassic era.
Yeah.
So unless something really sort of weird and wonderful pops up over the next couple of months, we're not really going to get much else, are we?
Have you met my family?
No. Some of them.
Yeah. But yes, so yeah, we can do that next week, and then a couple of weeks I'd like to do something about the missing Kruger gold.
Sounds like a plan.
That'd be quite interesting, that one. So I will. What was that noise?
Hey, go back.
Okay. So I will say thank you very much for joining us. Welcome back from your holiday, and welcome to the show. And we shall.
Can I do a quick plug?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
It's
not a butt plug. I don't mind.
Camera sideways so you can see it properly.
Hang on. There we go.
There you are.
Whistle from the Hills, and the new one, Lady J. Hang on, which one have I just put down? That's the new one, Lady J, is now available.
I myself have a copy of each book on its way.
Yes, they are both on. They're going to be winging their way down to you, along with your Corfu fridge magnet that you asked for.
Thank you.
Also, in about 2 minutes' time, I'm going live on the Spookinori channel to do the live raffle. And basically, what it is over the last week, when I did my last live feed over in Corfu, I required people that if they wanted to, they could put their names in, and they would have the names put into a raffle, which will be drawn out tonight, and their name will be included in the next Spookinori.
Okay.
So,
okay. Well, in that case, without further ado, I'll let you go and do that.
Lovely. All right, thank you very much, and I'll speak to you soon.
I'll probably see you in a minute, because I'll probably join you over there. See you in a bit, dude.
All right, mate.
Thank you, everybody else, for joining us. And on that note, bye-bye.
Bye.
Keep waving, keep waving, keep waving.